One way we can critique white identity is to examine who our heroes are, who we hold up as the best example of ourselves. Or, what do we think are heroic acts? Fellow white men, we need to urgently reassess what we think it means to be a hero. Why? Because our current understanding leads to people like Kyle Rittenhouse and George Zimmerman. So where do we go wrong? Well, I think our preferred heroic act involves two things. One, inserting ourselves in a situation in which we were not initially a part, and two, using a firearm. Now, before you abandon the video and jump to the comments, let me head you off with a pass. I am in no way anti-firearm, and clearly I'm not against helping a stranger in need. But our strong attraction toward that type of involvement leads us to make very bad decisions. Sometimes, I think, becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. We predict there is going to be a tragedy and we intervene. However, our very presence actually ends up leading to a tragedy that we were presumably wanting to avoid. Sometimes doing the right thing isn't glamorous. Sometimes being brave is not being on the other end of a gun or riding into town like the Lone Ranger to save the day, but rather engaging with our community and pushing back against our own insecurities and being open to hearing other points of view and other perspectives and other ideas of how we can help. All right, so I fully expected white guys to jump on that and say, we're not that attached to our firearms, or of course there are other types of heroic acts. But actually, I didn't hear any of that. Also, I thought I said some important things about bravery and other ways we can help that we could have engaged on. But nobody had much to say about that stuff either. Instead, the responses lacked depth. Instead of talking about how we approach situations, a lot of these white guys were focused on the fact that they thought I was saying white people shouldn't defend ourselves. Yeah, but that's not what I am talking about. I'm not talking about a person coming into my orbit, entering my home or workplace and threatening me. No, I'm talking about when a white person goes out into the world in service of their own ego. But that's okay. We can learn something even from that type of response. So, question. How does someone looking at the Kyle Rittenhouse situation walk away with a conclusion that it was all about self-defense? Answer: only with blinders on, looking at a very narrow couple seconds of the situation, ignoring everything that came before and after. Conveniently, ignoring critical details. If I insert myself into a situation, contribute to raising the temperature of that situation, then I find myself harmed or in danger and have to defend myself, I'm not saying I shouldn't defend myself, but at the very least, that is a very different situation than the run-of-the-mill self-defense scenario. And anyone who is trying to make those two things sound the same is wrong.